good morning, good morning. This is Nix. I don't know if you can tell if I wasn't ready or not, but I wasn't. There were so many events this morning that happened. It's something about sitting on houses. Random people are sitting on houses. Some of the people that are sitting on the houses are forgetting to turn their headlights off. So they're disturbing our sleep. I don't care how far away you are, we can energetically feel the nuisance, okay? So that's that. And the real reason for me waking up like that so abruptly and getting on without even getting prepared is because there's a freaking B and E somewhere. There's somebody who's a femboy or a feminine acting guy, or is that either he plays that way? I don't know. But this is the words that I heard as soon as it happened was, we finna take this shit. I was trying to tell you. And what I saw was a stack of documents. Now, here's the thing. I don't know whose house this was, but it looked nice and clean. It looked like someone has a good filing system. However, it was a stack of something. It was a stack of like papers, books, tunes, records, something. Someone's, I don't know if it's an office, a home office, or an actual business office. Someone has access to a building. Whether they broke in it or they had what's my key? Some key access or not, right? There's somebody who lives a double life who is helping with this B&E. And they're basically saying we're finna take his shit or this shit. It was like not even 20 minutes ago. And I was like, I just gotta get up because I don't want to lose this. Okay, so there's that, and there's a big cat that's about to expire. So I don't know if someone has a big cat. Good morning. I don't know if someone has a big cat or they've been to the zoo lately and they went to maybe the cat area and the cat wasn't feeling well. But I don't know if it's about to expire, but it's something about a big cat. Maybe it's literal or maybe it's figuratively. It's a big cat. Somebody check on Cat Williams. Check on Cat Williams. But it's something about a big cat. It's a big cat. And it's not feeling well. It's not doing good. It's a I don't know if it's bigger, that big, like a domestic cat, a zoo cat, but it's a cat. It's a big cat, and it's not doing well. I don't know if it's your cat. I don't have one. So, yeah, that part. All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, I know I crash landed in here this morning because when you take the job, you take the responsibilities of getting up. And if people need messages, you got to get up and give it to them right away. So, that being that, happy Monday. Happy Monday to all. I have been working. I had fun yesterday. I took a walk in the drizzle. You know, the part where you need to be more careful when the rain first starts, when the oil has just gotten saturated and it's coming up from the ground. That's when I took a walk. And it felt nice outside, and it was somewhat very somber. It was almost like the quiet before the storm. So it feels like a bit of a buildup of momentum in the background. There's something that's building up. I don't know what it is, but there's an energy that's building up to a climax. We're getting to it sooner or later, but I don't know how soon. For a lot of the collective, we're not waiting. We're in preparation, I should say. We're doing everything that we can before we get to the next level and where we could push forward. And that is good and that is positive. However, everybody's thing isn't going to look the same because everybody's timeline isn't actually synced together. Not quite yet. There'll come a time where we'll come together into one harmony for a bit of time because that's the bit of a vibration that the world does need. But not just quite yet because we have too many people in our business, in our algorithms, in our chats, in our phones, in our business, in our mail, checking our credit, trying to see what they can do to erect some type of panic, some type of stagnation, some type of mindset that makes us lose faith in the very purpose that we're here for. So, temperance, everyone. There are certain things that we have to be aware of. Our life is going to keep happening, whether or not this is, anyone finds this important or not. There are people that are set aside for that very purpose of harassing us. And now it makes very much sense why so many people don't work. So many people aren't pressed about it is because they're part of these organizations. However they fall on the hierarchy, they are part of it. And at some point they signed an agreement or came into agreement with something that said, hey, I won't go into the traditional workforce. I'll just spy on other people for a lifetime. And that'll keep me afloat. Even if it drags me down to hell, I'll live bare minimum. I'll let them breadcrumb me until someone feels as though they want to give me a hand up from ruining someone else's life. And to us, we know that's not a bargain. But to them, having not to clock in, sleeping until 12 and 2, not really required to do the things that normal people do, not really having taxes, not really having any real responsibility. But of course, there's a flip side to that. If you don't have to pay taxes, you're going to draw on the taxpayers. And guess who are the taxpayers? Mostly it's us. So you have to understand that leverage in things. Things that I think about when I'm not talking to anyone else. Okay, so I picked 102, Psalms 102 this morning. Hopefully you're getting your rest and you're getting enough water. Hopefully you're taking your notes and you're not letting things go by. When I got up this morning, I saw a RAV4. I saw a RAV4 facing. And I looked for a while, and for a while, whatever energetic signal I must have sent out, they turned out the headlights. That was about 2:14. I said I won't be bothered with it. Not at that time. But these people are having anxiety as they're waiting outside of these doors. They're going through withdrawals, whatever kind of substance they've been on. It's starting to definitely harp on their health. And the thing about it is when they're doing this projection type of thing, you got to understand that a person that does not get high would understand that they're not high and it's someone else that's inebriated in their energy. Interesting enough. How does one be sober for so long and then wake up and feel a bit, ooh, that's not my energy? I found myself surrounded by Masons and Easterns and their familiars this weekend, and that was fine. I was quite fine with it. I was actually curious, quite curious. So I took a seat and I had a conversation with quite a few of them. One of them offered for me to come to the beach. He kept giving me landscapes as if I was actually really going to come to his home. He was telling me about a cross and about a lane and about his driveway. And I watched his face and how flush it was as he was so happily telling me about this trap. Oh, my bad. This place that he wanted me to visit. And it seemed like a beautiful oasis. The more and more he mentioned it, he made it sound like it was the best escape in the world. For who, I don't know, but he made it sound that way. But then he casually referred to my son as a girl. Hey, darling. And I address him as a boy, and I address him as a boy, and I talk to him like a boy. So at some point during the conversation, there was a hitch in the thought process. So as my cogs were turning, so was his and his counterparts, and everybody started moving around me in such a way as where they were observing closely but away, respectfully but not. And then this man went about bragging about his wife in front of me, and he should have been, because she did marry you. And then he made a big to-do about how much work she does, and then carelessly says, hey, you see that black girl over there? That's my little girlfriend, after he just got finished bragging about his wife not even a second ago. And I was like, is this real? I mean, I've seen this happen time after time, but is this real right now in this moment? And she's sitting there within an earshot, and she's listening to everything and not looking my way, and not acting as though she hears anything. But I notice exactly everything that's going on, and I notice the pardon me, the sting in my tooth is bothering me. And I noticed that she is, I'm not going to do it on camera. Oh, a piece of coarse pepper. Coarse pepper? Someone serves coarse pepper. Okay, so I noticed that she wasn't looking my way, and this is the thing. You probably married her because of her light, and the way that she serves you, and the way that she carelessly lets you talk that shit so close to her. And it was weird that this black lady that you called your girlfriend was complete opposite of the wife that you were so callously bragging about. At the same time, you were breaking her down. It was like me witnessing female mental castration 101. It was as though I mentioned it the other day, and then I actually got a chance to see another example of it done freshly with my eyes wide open. And to see this woman not even flinch. And the black lady came up right as he was speaking, this in this manner. All this was said while wearing a big old Jesus shirt, by the way. They did invite me to come out to their churches. But the funniest part was when the lady that was the girlfriend walks by the table, and she looks at us, and she looks at him, and she looks at me, and I'm like, is he shopping? Does he think I desire to be any one of you's replacements? Is this the reason why this subject was harked upon? Or was it my wind-tossed hair and my careless attitude and my willingness to have this conversation with the fellas? One at one point actually got up out of his chair and got on his knees in the gravel to hear everything that I had to say. It wasn't off-putting, but it wasn't unnoticeable. When he got up, I noticed the pattern of the street in his knees. And I thought, how ironic. I had this white guy in the middle of the street on his knees. I still don't know his name. I never asked it. I never wanted to. But kudos for his daughter to be his daughter. Having to live with a person who's compartmentalized in such a way, I can tell he has a heart, but I don't know where he keeps it. It's definitely not in there. I guess that's a requirement when you come into agreement with such things. I used to work for the government, you know. They get you to sign so many things you hardly ever remember exactly. But I do remember those times in several elementaries where they came in with those big, gigantic headphones as though they were going to let me listen to something great. But all I received was, which side? Do you hear anything? And then nobody comes back to tell you what was going on. But I do remember as a child being showed the projector, being showed the splotches, being made to hear sounds or made to put my finger up if I noticed anything or I heard anything or I picked up anything. And they never said anything to me after those tests. They'd always just gather their things and walk out. And I'd never know what that was for. I knew I could hear. I knew I could see. But I never knew what those gateway tests were for. My steps were divinely guided because I remember the buildings in which I went into. I remember going into one of those spots. For the longest time, I've always come across random military personnel. There's always, for a while, it seems like that's all I could date. That's all I'd be surrounded by randomly. And now it's not so random. I'm always with someone in the government hierarchy. I remember when I took a flight from Vegas. I was coming from Vegas, military. I left from Vegas, I went to Tampa, military. When I got on the plane that last time, there was an older guy there, and he wanted me to sit by him. He willed me to sit by him. And the funny thing is, he said, I remember that conversation, he said, you guys from Maryland, you guys get those psychic attacks and things of that nature. And he was being pretty funny. And he kept trying to introduce me to his family. He wanted me to be his wife. But I don't think so. See, he said he was a retired FBI, DEA, or something like that. And he had a common name, a common surname, and that's what I didn't trust really about it. But I knew that we weren't related because of the way that he acted. He was so far, far, far removed because all of us are pretty much related at some point, at some axis. But you need to be removed at least by the 20th. But it's so crazy how these things happen, but they're not in coincidence. And it was even odd that even after a year or two away from such the same individual, I would meet a next individual who actually had doctor's appointments right around the corner from where we used to do lunch. It was like I was never out of their sight, not for a second, not for a moment. However, I didn't know who they were at the time. I wasn't trying to notice because I was too busy doing me and taking my freedom for granted, or at least the freedom that I thought I had. See, I am free in mind, body, and soul, but the government wants me to believe something else. And the people that the government already has brought, signed, sealed, and delivered, they want me to be with them because they feel as though I have something to offer them, but they've never offered me anything but breadcrumbs and harassment and the worst of the worst of the worst of the specimens because they wanted to bring my vibration down. However, I wasn't born that way. I wasn't supposed to be that way. This is why you sought me out. But why would you seek me out to make me common when that isn't my purpose? So you have to understand how you ended up in such a situation with a family that was common. Because they wanted you to fit in, they wanted to camouflage you amongst the common. Hopefully, if they put you amongst them, you will start to act like them because this is what they wanted you to do. But however, the great Lord and Savior has made you different for a reason. If you're taking heed, God only calls you out when he really, really needs you. So some of it is for your benefit. If you listen to the Bible stories and you listen to the war stories, you listen to the Romans, you listen to all of this, the different timetables, they always say the greatest feat is the art of war. I know you thought I was going somewhere else with that, but no. The greatest feat is the art of war, and God is great at that. Because he's been through it so many times. It would only see fit that he would know the moves of the enemy and decide that he would decide to play their game with us. But we don't need to know because we don't need to be giving off the signals. So it's like we're hidden. For some of us, it seems a bit torturous that we should wake up around folk that don't want to understand us at all, even if it's for their greater good. And then it's even alarming when you realize that they actually understand what you're here for. They just don't like the fact that it's you. But then you make some adjustments and you're like, okay, they're the haters. Okay, cool. But why did I get put with them? If you wanted me to be great, why was I positioned in such a way? And I can only guess training. Ah, Big Cat, Katniss, Hunger Games. Katniss. Remember how the representative for that was the bird, the districts. The districts, oh, the districts. When the campaign first came out, I didn't think that movie was great enough to make several of them. But then they did. It took me a while to watch them too. They were out for about 3 to 4 years. I'm really not one of those that follows the crowd. It has to pull on me. And it has to have a time. There are some movies that I didn't see when they first came out, but it took some time. And timing is in everything. Just like you might come across some people and you'll say, did you see this movie? And they'll say, no, I didn't see this movie. Actually, that's a gentle nudge. Oh, no, my bad. For you to leave. Because if you're in alignment, most of you have gotten the same information but absorbed it in a different way. But that's usually my clue. If I've taken in certain amounts of information and I start talking to you about certain information and I see that your penchant for entertainment sucks, you don't have a great movie palette, that's a warning. Because you don't know news. I know. Some people have to watch 45, 11, 2 and situations like that. But for the rest of us who are actually vibrating the highest, we also understand that we have to watch the movies. Because the movies are going to put us 4 and 5 and 10 years above, because we do understand that the ones who actually have to sit there and sit by themselves and type, they're not working from such a blank space as what we'd like to believe. They're working from encoded DNA that's in them. There are sleeper cells. We're never supposed to know until it's time to know. Because that's the way God puts us together so thoughtfully. He's able to read our signals way before we're ever able to translate. We're so much babies. We're babies. We're little babies. We've got to be here for quite a while in order to even understand in the rawness of the thing. So, for the other people, yeah, you've got to watch the news every day. Some of us are 20 years ahead. And that's why you're looking at us like that. That's why the odd turn of the neck when you see what we say, because it's like, huh? And then the time comes to pass and you're like, no. And then you have that moment by yourself and you're like, but they were right though. They did say that. And by the time you come back around us really ready to absorb the information, because there were too many coincidences and too many synchronicities that we called out. So clandestly, we didn't care. We just were talking to you and we were telling the truth at the time. And you thought we were trying to be special and trying to be performative when actually we were just kibitzing. For those who know what that is, we were just chatting casually. No gossip. We were just going off of what was there. And when you came about it and you came back around actually finally believing, we no longer cared to talk to you because we remembered the look. We remembered the oddness of the push away. We remember the rejection of the information so vividly that now any respect that was had mutually at the time is no longer there. It's now dissipated. Because why would I keep talking to a naysayer? Why would I keep talking to a Debbie Downer or a don'ter? Why would I keep talking to a person who would actually have the evidence right there, yet still deny it? I'll allow you to gaslight yourself through life. I'll be over there with the cool kids. The ones that don't care too much. So let's get on with the Psalms and then the Tarot, because that was the oracle, okay? That was the oracle message. Someone needs to know. There's someone who's going to try to pick up a sort of style that doesn't quite fit them. There's someone who has way too much makeup on. Darling, you still look the same. There's a cheap cologne that's put on way too much, way too often. It makes someone's head hurt. Please stop. Use soap. It might change things. Does somebody smell like hot dog water? Ugh. Someone has a stench. Okay, so let's get on with it, because as soon as I mentioned it, it just... Okay, so let's go. So, congratulations to those who have made it this far in the journey to understand that you are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything we hope for. You're everything the universe needs. You are so beautiful. Believe. Yay. That was for us, because we need a little pep talk. We need a little love sometime. In places where we've decided we're cool. We're cool. Hear my prayer, O Lord, and let my cry come unto thee. Hide not thy face from me in the day when I am in trouble. Incline thine ear unto me in the day when I call. Answer me speedily. For my days are consumed like smoke, and my bones are burned as an hearth. My heart is smitten and withered like grass, so that I forgot to eat my bread. Someone's fasting. By reason of voice of my groaning, my bones cleave to my skin. I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. I watch and am as a sparrow alone upon the housetop. Mine enemies reproach me all the day, and they that are mad against me are sworn against me. I told you about that military. For I have eaten ashes like bread, and mingled my drink with weeping, because of thine indignation and thy wrath, for thou hast lifted me up and cast me down. My days are like a shadow that declineth, and I am withered like grass. Good morning. But thou, O Lord, shalt endure forever, and thy remembrance unto all generations. Thou shalt arise and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor her, yea, the set time is come. It's time. For thy servants take pleasure in our stones, and favor the dust thereof. So the heathen shall fear the name of the Lord, and all the kings of the earth thy glory. When the Lord shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his glory. He will regard the prayer of the destitute and not despise their prayer. This shall be written for the generation to come, and the people which shall be created shall praise the Lord. Are you cleansing yourself spiritually? There's some kids that gotta be made. Not right now, but soon. For he hath looked down from the height of his sanctuary. From heaven did the Lord behold the earth, to hear the groaning of the prisoner, to loose those that are appointed to death, to declare the name of the Lord in Zion, and his praise in Jerusalem, when the people are gathered together in the kingdoms to serve the Lord. He weakened my strength in the way, he shortened my days. I said, O my God, take me not away in the midst of my days. Thy years are thoughtful. Thy years are throughout all generations. Of old hast thou laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of thy hands. They shall perish, but thou shalt endure. Yea, all of them shall wax old like a garment. As a vesture shalt thou change them, and they shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall have no end. The children of thy servants shall continue, and their seed shall be established before thee. Amen, amen. Selah, so be it, so let it be. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Now, the oracle did finish the story. Noted. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Very much so. Very much so. I saw a message the other day that said that I should be leaving and going across to there. Specifically Egypt. Specifically Egypt, right? But I'm not so sure. Not right now. This isn't the time. Everything is in timing. Everything is in timing, my dear. Let me get the music. I was writing yesterday. And for some reason, I love when I write because the lyrics are always alive. Hey, are you ready? Okay. She's as cold as ice. She's willing to sacrifice. She's as cold as ice. She's willing to sacrifice our love or the lack thereof. I don't give a damn about what you thought it was. Hello, buzz. And I see you as a scrub. If you run up out of gas, all you getting is a shrug. You a bug. Never sell you as a thug. Couldn't even swatch that bill. Now you running from them slug. You's a dub. You ain't get cut in the mud, popping out like you are lame, my man. You just walk like a dud. Hey, she's as cold as ice. She's willing to sacrifice. She's as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love. So I did finish Dice City. Beautiful, right? City high, city lows. When you're living in the city, that's how it goes. City high, city low. When you touch that city dice, that's how it rolls. You see that girl, she likes that man in the truck. And you see that man, he doesn't like that girl, but he likes to touch. They like to hit the town. They like to get lit up. But it's like Russian roulette when they hit the hay, but we pray good luck. City highs, city lows. When you're living in the city, that's how it goes. City highs, city lows. When you touch them city dice, that's how it rolls. See that man on the stoop, he used to be real sturdy on the loop. He fell on hard times, they fell on him. Got a whole lot of wrong stuff, now he's razor thin. You see that lady with the child, she says she's stressed, where is a black and mild? She do her best, she's in denial, cause having a baby is the only thing keeps her from miles. City high, city low. When you're living in the city, that's how it goes. City high, city lows. When you touch that city dice, that's how it rolls. Look at Grandpa with that grin. He takes care of home, but he likes his sin. Look at Grandma, she feeds her kin. Raised half of the city, likes the numbers and she likes to win. City highs, city lows. Cause when you're living in a city, that's how it goes. City high, city lows. Cause when you touch that city dice, that's how it rolls. Do yourself a favor and don't crap out. So, that's actually messages if you actually court some of the lyrics. Those lyrics are always very well thought out. We have a responsibility for the things that we keep repeating over and over again. Responsibility to make sure it makes sense and it doesn't lead you astray and put you in a situation you can't get out of. So, hopefully that helps someone who relates more to the music, all right? Because what is music other than a cryptic note? Ha. Tell me how the fire wasn't supposed to burn me. Tell me how a river, yeah, is supposed to make it to sea. How the fuck you get up there when it's supposed to be me? And how you bitches in that section When baby I paid the fee. Cryptic, 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 cryptic notes. I was drifting, I was drinking, now I am supposed to float. Cryptic, 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 cryptic notes. I was drifting, I was drinking, now I am supposed to float. Pain led me to the water, yay. And then I drowned in my desires. I pushed my feet into the earth, yay, yeah. Came up with clay like a designer. Yeah. Cryptic, 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 cryptic notes. I was drifting, you were shifting, now we are supposed to float. Cryptic, 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 cryptic notes. I was dreaming, you were streaming, now we supposed to buy a boat. Did you catch that one? Don't let that one go over your head. On to the tarot, because we're entertained. Yes, we are. Are you entertained? There's someone that wants to keep up. They want to keep up appearances. There's also someone that wants to keep up the distraction because they actually are starting to get happy. They like the thrill of the chase. They do, they do, they do. Without better choice of words, it's like human hunting, very much so. But it's crazy. They used to use Dutch hounds and things of that nature. And what are the trackers? They used to use those. Now they use. Oh, that's right. The loyalty crew, dogs. Dogs. You don't understand that you're being treated like a dog. That's why your life is being leveraged by watching other people who they deem actually more valuable than you. But that's neither here nor there, right? Right. Okay. And valuable not so much in a way as though they're supposed to be valuable to themselves, but they're valuable in a way that they're valuable to other people, and they don't want them to be valuable to themselves. You understand that? It's the use. It's the purpose. You know, much like the dandelion is nothing but a weed until it's picked up by some scientists and grounded into some powder and then put into your cabinet, and now it's $6.99 and above. Just like that. We're all weeds until we find our purpose. Much like dandelions and a lot of things in the front lawn. So until they purpose it, it's valueless. Much like us. What's your purpose? Come on, class. You know I can't. I shouldn't use that word. I don't like that word. Can't. Cannot. Not at the time. Bad timing. That sort of thing. But yes, we can. Yes, we can. It depends on the environment. It depends on the timing. It depends on the thing. But yes, we can. Yes, we can. Hell yes, we can. If we can picture it, we can develop it. We can bring it into fruition. You see, Jabba the Hutt, someone dreamed and came up with this thing, and next thing you know, it was on our screen. And the next thing you know, he had a sister. I did watch The Mandalorian and all the rest of the spin-offs. I like them. That also should have told you that looks mean nothing. I mean, did you see all of the creatures that he mentioned? All of the creatures that he created? All of the languages that he created within that whole entire campaign? So, yes, he can. Based on my studies, which was MPT, HBO Max, all those things, based on my studies, yes, we can. If I had to think about NASA, at least we can make it look like we can. So, yeah, yes, we can. To an extent right now, but there's going to come a time where we actually can. Just like we didn't know that 3D printers were going to be a thing later on in life, but they were a thing to someone before they became a thing to everybody. So, yes, we can. I grew up during the era of the Jetsons, where Rosie was a side piece. All bets safer. I don't think he was going to bang that one. But it does say a lot about our office habits and about the boss. And you remember Sprocket, the little short guy that used to come in and yell and yell and yell, Jetson! He took up all of his extra time. It was like he never clocked out. We know some people like that. They hop upon your time. You can't do anything. They're calling all the time. And it's not always work. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's kids. You have no moment to yourself. That's on purpose. So that you don't actually hop upon your purpose. It's meant to not be quiet. They can make quiet cars. They make them all the time. But they also know how to make things noisy. It's crazy how all their things are quiet when they're following you, but you hear all the noise that you're making. When you walk, there's a vibration. Everything you do is a vibration, and it changes. And there are people that have things, special equipment that looks at colors all day. That's why colors matter. That's why being colorblind isn't working. But if they can get you to operate as a dog, they can definitely change the hues that you see. Because your loyalty can be a disturbance in your frequency. It's because you're projecting energy out with loyalty. You're always worried about someone else's need with loyalty. And I guess that's a color too. Is that what happened before Technicolor? Is this why Lisa Frank had to be so bright? You remember the old colors that we had. It was always pea green. There were always colors that weren't vibrant until we had colors that were vibrant. And then things certainly changed, and then we got those children, the indigo children that did come about. And that's when spectrum became a thing to say. Remember those TVs with the little boxes in them? And if you got close enough to the television, you can see the pattern of red, blue, and green. Red, blue, and green. RBG, RGB, color sequences. Something about color sequences. Masters of the Universe. Anybody who's got any kind of education needs to go over there and watch that one more time. I told you someone wants to be the Skeletor to my He-Man. Let's get on with it. The messages have to be decoded, especially when you have those that are less educated and less up on the frequency. They're still loyal. So we've got the Wheel of Fortune coming straight out. Isn't that nice? Isn't it ironic? The Aries came out. The Three of Wands came out. I got double Aries. Oh boy, this is going to be a great one. Yesterday I started in Taurus. It's funny that Aries should be the next one. And then we have a Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So somebody's getting anxious. Somebody's getting hurt. Somebody's hurting. Somebody doesn't like this. Someone's in their feelings. Someone woke up with intense emotions, not really understanding what was going on. But they felt the cord cut. They felt the disconnection. They felt that they were pushed out of someone's aura, someone's field. They felt the isolation. They feel the disconnect. And it makes them angry that they couldn't latch on. No signal from the ethers, eh? What will you watch now? Yourself. It makes me want to laugh like a fat man with a round belly. Christmas came early, you guys. We got a present. I don't know about no guy coming into your house dressed in red and white, coming down through your chimney unannounced. And there will be no greetings, nor no cookies. Okay, 10 Wheel of Fortune, 4 Wands, and we've got 3 of Wands. 4 Wands, 3 Wands, Wheel of Fortune. Foundation, preparation, oversight, seeing past, present, and future. Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter. Feminine, Wands, Aries, foundation. Very nurturing foundation. Someone is nurturing themselves on this time of the wheel. Someone is using their time and their momentum in a good way. 3 of Wands. I'm trying to not to smile so big because they hate that. Timing. Okay. You've created a firm foundation for yourself. Now is the time to plan for a secure future. Sun in Aries, moving forward, commitment to the future. Someone's committed. Someone's ready. Ready for that boat? Let's go. All right, we got to go. It's time to go. Yeah. So the Wheel of Fortune is certainly turned in our direction, collective. It's time to rebuild your foundation however you'd like to see it. It's time to bring your dreams into fruition. It's time to start gathering your acorns for the next season of hibernation because it's coming. Winter is coming, okay? There is no if. There's just a when. And it's right around the corner, okay? So someone's getting ready to do the cuffing season thing. And some of us are ready to lock in. Not so much as lock in on other people, but lock in on exactly where we want to go. Some of us are ready to jump timelines immediately. Someone's getting their passport. Someone's leaving. At the same time, they're relocating. And someone's just relocating their mind and their thoughts and their body. Someone's going to take on a new relationship, and someone is ready to leave a relationship to take a break, not to go into another relationship. Okay? What we do know is congratulations on all the new babies and everything, but also happy, safe sexting and texting for the ones who know that they need to wrap that thing up because they're not ready to expose another child to the current conditions in which we live in until the rest of the adults get their stuff together. I was trying not to curse. So yes, this is double Aries. Right now we have a 7 and a 10, which is a 17. You are a star, baby. If you are who you say you are, a superstar. I always fade out of the words. Someone hates the fact that I always know lyrics. And it pisses them off because they like to be cool on sight like this. But I can't help it. I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. I keep forgetting the same again. He keeps forgetting made it so clear. You keep forgetting every time you're near. I wanna get up for miles. Every time you're near, I wanna disrupt your smile. I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. Hey, I keep forgetting. It's a shame that I wake up like this. So double Aries, you are the star. My dear, you're the star of your life. You are the main attraction. Never let someone come into your space and make you feel like you are the side man, the co-star. Don't let nobody son you, daughter you when you are the one running the whole kit and caboodle, okay? Before Robin, there was only Batman. The only time the Joker even bothers with Robin is when Batman pisses him off so much and he can't get him into position, and then he'll use Robin. Other than that, he's not really thinking about Robin. So, when it comes to triangulation, think of the enemy as the Joker and really laugh at their side pieces and their third parties as if they're the weaker Robin, I should say. The one that kept getting kidnapped and getting his butt kicked and kept drawing in the main character. Because sometimes that's how they get the main character, by the side pieces, by the co-stars, by the lovers. Remember how many times they kept this stealing his girlfriends conveniently, knowing he was coming to save them. They did the same thing with Superman, but they ain't do it too much because Superman, you don't come back from that. He kicked Batman's ass. Remember that? There is an emperor that actually shows out just like Superman. You don't want to touch his woman. That's the guy I like. The one that's kind of ironclad. He's not that nice. Yeah, the one with boundaries. Yeah, that's Superman kind of love. The one that gives you hope. Because that's what the S on his chest is for. Batman's okay, but he gets his ass kicked a lot. You can have that one. Especially the Val Kilmer one. You could definitely have the Val Kilmer one. What was that anyway? I can't get over that part. It should have never happened, okay? He's a lip model, not Batman. Okay, so that was the Aries reading, and the number was 17. This was double fire, which is a lot of passion. Now, even if you aren't an Aries, this is the trait, the personality. This is what's in the chart, and that is double Aries. So I have the Wheel of Fortune, which is the 10, Jupiter. I have the 4 of Wands, Aries, feminine. Doesn't have to be, But you know how it goes. There is no gender in bullshit, bitches, and tarot. Okay, and then we've got the Three of Wands, which is also an Aries card with the sun, which is male and female, which means someone is balanced and there is about to be a union. Somebody's going to meet their one. I think it's going to happen in travel. In travel. So maybe you'll be walking to the store. Maybe you'll be on a plane. Maybe you'll be in an airport, on a boat. Maybe you'll just be traveling across the city or across the county. Wherever you'll be traveling, that's when you're going to meet it. And someone energetically is going to, they going down. They going down. Cause you ain't around, baby. They whole world's upside down. And sleep won't come easy. Alright, so somebody's butthurt. They're going to be butthurt when they see you with your new boo, no matter what it is. Whether it be a boy, girl, or them, or shim. Doesn't matter. Are you having an emergency shake? What? Are you diabetical? Go get some medication. I don't suggest YouTube at this time. The lights might bother you. Okay. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles. We're in Taurus right now. We just left Aries and somebody's not getting a lot of sleep. They're tossing in and turning and turning and tossing and I don't know what they're going to do. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Pentacles and she's looking at these coins and she's all about herself. And guess what? She also can't get no dang sleep about these new beginnings that you are undoubtedly about to go through. So somebody has somebody who is very, very full of themselves. They're very, 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 very blatant about how much it's about them and never about you. Okay? So someone is definitely full of themselves and they ain't liking what's going on. They don't like it that you're pulling attention away from them. They don't like it that they aren't the big show. They hate it there. What are you doing? Why are you getting a new beginning? Who said you can do that? You didn't ask my permission. Unfortunately for us, we have some people in our families that actually believe that they actually run some shit. No, they just run their mouth. And at some point in time, we actually made them feel like that because actually we were paying them no mind. And sometimes we did enable them by giving them what they asked for at the time. But they didn't know that they weren't getting over at anybody. We gave it to them because we had it. And we gave it to them because honestly, we wanted them to get out of our face and stop asking them. Now, had we known you were going to take that and run with it and say, yeah, I got my tethering them, I'll use them whenever I want. I'll call them whenever I want. Oh, that's just them. I can get anything I want from them. And that's the story that they told when they got something from you, not knowing that what they got from you was something that you can really afford to do without. But they ran with the story and they told everybody, I can shake them down. I can take their things. I can cut them off from anything because they listen to me. And this is what they told people, not telling you anything. Had you known, things would have went a lot differently. Had you known that they were going to take something that happened between you guys and turning it into something else when they got into a different environment, unbeknownst to you. And what you didn't know is that people were going to come around and observe you and never tell you what was said about you. And they were going to go with that narrative and try indeed to push it and try to attach to it. Well, if this person said that they can get anything out of it, I'm going to do what I can do. And I'm going to try them and see if I can get everything that they got out of them. 9 times out of 10, you're not that same person. So everybody's not going to be treated the same. Now, if you can afford it and you ignore people in just that way, then yeah, you might treat everybody the same because they're nothing to you. They're just, it's nothing to be a human to people. And some people for real think actual respect is actually getting over on other people when respect is free. Do you know that sometimes when you say hello to somebody, somebody actually takes that and acts as though that was like you giving them $1 or something? So sometimes your hello is more valuable than anything because somebody got a noticed. Oh, they spoke to me. I know them. I can go talk to them. Not knowing that you just say hello because that's human decency. I should have been born in the South. I should have moved by now. I should have never let you guys experience me to this extent. I should have left. I mean, how many times am I going to keep getting asked, are you from here? Are you from here? You don't speak like you're from here. You can't be from here. I still have this conversation every day, every other day, every day. The police ask me quite often, are you from here? I say, well, look in your database. Some people are them. Some people don't let the environment soak into them because they don't desire what the environment has. They like what they have quite well. They like what they have internally, so they push that out instead of absorbing everything that comes about. And I guess that makes me an anomaly because everybody else has absorbed everything. And at some point, I guess they did think that they were helping me, that they were getting me to absorb. But the thing about it is they weren't getting me to absorb anything. It was just a lot of people starting to imitate me at the same time. It was like I could not do a thing by myself. Somebody would automatically pop up with either the same color, the same hat, the same hair, the same something. It was though somebody was telling them, hey, follow this person and make sure you do what they do so that they don't feel so special and don't feel so original. And then I took heed to that. But the best thing that happened to me was when they started trying to ostracize me. Now people wanted what I was doing to be weird, but then you still had this one group that was sequestered to still do the same shit that I was doing, so then it stuck out. And it wasn't able to be hidden anymore. It wasn't so covert. And I'm like, they're doing this on purpose. This is a psychology. This has to be a psychology thing. Because everybody used to copy. Now I'm assigned a group. I'm definitely not Beyonce, so why is the hive? It was like a swarm. But I kill my own bugs. I don't call. No terminator for species I've eradicated before. It ain't my first rodeo, but it's my first time addressing it as a rodeo. Before I thought it was just life. Now I see this as theater. Street theater at its best. It's a good thing I spent 4 years in baby theater. As a thespian, you know, you're required to go through the pressures of learning scripts very, very, very fast, being in the green room, listening for your cue, scanning and going toward where the light is lined up and following where the tape is so that you don't step out of scene. That training was definitely for life. Life's a stage. Shave and a haircut. Who knew? Roger Rabbit. Jessica Rabbit. Va va voom. Someone's not the bee's knees anymore and it bothers them. Someone's aging very old, like old sour meat. And it's not because someone did anything to them. It's because of the anger. It's because of the angst. It's because of the guilt. It's because of the receipts. It's because of the deeds done and hopefully forgotten. But no one's forgotten, really. They just put them in file 16 in the back of their mind, and it never comes out unless someone needs to get that information. Conveniently, information becomes available as it's called for. But definitely in this Taurus, there is someone that's full of themselves. They thought that everything was supposed to be done for their purpose, but now they don't feel so much so. So now you get a new beginning. You get a new beginning because somebody thought that they were the bee's knees and you had to knock them down off of the trees. That's what happens when you knock out a beehive. You got to worry about that. You've got to duck and dodge, but if you have protective equipment, why not just go? You've got a net, cast it and go. I'm thinking of the boat again. Escapism. Someone wants to leave. Take a few fishing rods so that you can fish and feed yourself. Okay, so that is the Taurus reading. Nine of Swords. Nine is the only thing, so you gotta pray. So there's divination. There's divination being done. There's divination refuting it. Okay? So while somebody's trying to pray towards somebody, pray on somebody, there is somebody praying that all this thing blows over and that everybody is safe in their protection and that no hex, spell, incantation, negative energy does intrude upon their barrier. Amen. Ashe, ashe, ashe. In that, I offer all the collective a part of protection, because all of us do need to be protected as we go forward. All right. So be aware of people coming in and trying to be the main character when you've already taken the stage. Ain't nobody come to see them Otis. All right, that was the Taurus reading. Okay, Gemini, let's go. Good morning. Good morning. Today is nice. It's mild. A nice day to have some kind of tuna. Smoked tuna, real tuna, yellowfin tuna. Get you some sushi, maybe a salad, maybe some medallions. Maybe you can grill something. Fish. High Priestess. Justice. Knight of Wands. This is Gemini here. This is Gemini here. High Priestess. Intuitively, you know. Intuitively, you know not to say. You intuitively know what to say. Intuitively. Two. That's balance. Very much balance. So there is some knowledge that you have that you are willing to display. There are some things that you cannot display for fear of the fact that people will be a bit bitter at your access to such. And the Justice is here. Something is being made fair. Something is fair. Something is right. Knight of Wands. Oh boy. What are we doing here? Cause you can't raise a man. I don't know why I wanted to sing that. Erky, right? Knight of Wands. Fire, fire. We just got out of fire, fire. We got a 2 and 11, and a 2 and 11 is a 13, which is death and transformation. Something is definitely changing. Somebody's husband or somebody's wife just actually woke up. Y'all might not be married yet, but somebody's husband or somebody's wife is just coming in online. It's like their Wi-Fi. Their Wi-Fi just kicked on. They just got booted on, and they're starting to reverberate. Their signal is putting off some great pheromones. You know, when those birds get the male birds get in front of the females, there's going to be a lot of peacocking coming on. Okay. Collective, you're going to know your guy. Your guy is going to not be it's certain information I can't give because we have karmics here that are trying to learn how to pretend to be your twin flame. So I'm trying not to give out too much information so that the wires don't get crossed. All right. So here's the thing. You're going to know your person. I just described it. Rio. Remember when Rio met his bird? I mean his wife. I mean his bird. Both. That part. It's going to be logical. And then it's going to be romantic. It's not going to be any of that mushy stuff that they keep trying to push us into, where you hop into sex fast and you end up having babies and you get married and then you get all of the in-laws in your business as soon as possible. That shit only works on TV. The love you're going to have, y'all are going to respectfully step off from the earth for a while until you guys make the adjustments you need to make. And you guys together will decide on whether or not the world needs to be introduced to your world, because we do know after practice and a few true crimes episodes is when the in-laws get overly involved, you've got too many hands in the pot. You've got too many people counting the pockets, trying to raise the kids. That was back in the day. I don't know who created that shit, but it didn't work. It ended up with everybody being leveraged for life insurance, okay? Because too many people was in the pot. Now that we've been able to step back and get a thing, okay, here it is. We're going to need to step away from all that. Not saying that we don't eventually get to extended family. I'm not saying to cut them off, but they don't need to know your business. They don't need to be in your things, not until you get a chance to adjust. Remember that osmosis thing, right? When you first get into a situation, 3 years need to be concreted down before you can even introduce something else. So, with that being said, be careful of your new beginnings. They are under attack for the first 3 years. And anything that happens inside that interval will maximize the attacks. There will be other attachments coming in. So if you can get a first 3 solid years in, then things will be signed, sealed, and delivered. And that's just like getting through the first trimester of your pregnancy without having people touch your belly or going around people and all that sort of thing, or even mentioning it. You got to get through your first trimester, which is what? 3. There's a reason why numbers are important. They just give us landmarks and signs and synchronicities. It's the reason why a 90-degree angle is that, for that reason. There's a reason why 120 exists. There's a reason why 360 exists. There's a reason why latitude and longitude do happen on the map. In case you're not on land, you're on sea, you need to know. Because even beyond the water, there's something underneath. And that's why latitude, longitude, that sort of thing. And this is why it matters in your life if you know what your internal compass is telling you. It's really important for you to know what your true north is, what that looks like for you. Some people's north looks like south. And you have to be okay with that, and you need to be able to step away from that, because obviously your north and their north aren't the same. You guys are not aligned. See, some people think that north just means that everybody's perfect. No, everybody's north is different. Where your north may be somewhere over here, their north might be somewhere over there. And they're different. Doesn't make that not a north, but it just makes it not your north. Hopefully that doesn't go over your head and that helps. Okay, so in the Gemini, there are things you know and there are things that you cannot say. And that is smart. It is fair and it is just to hold some things to yourself, because the times that you have been open and able to share, that those things have been taken advantage of and leveraged against you. So it is not wrong for you to have your things to yourself. As an adult, it is more encouraged to have your things to yourself, especially if you are the only one who is in charge of taking care of you. It's nobody's business. If they're not paying your bills, feeding you, buying your toilet paper, they really have no privilege in your space. They should not have your business. They should not have your information. It is just. Someone needs to reclaim their privacy. Take back your keys, your home, your house, your car, your kids, whatever you need to take back to get away and get someone out of your field. Do so now. So the Knight of Wands, now I'm understanding. The Knight of Wands means you're starting from this side. You're not unexperienced. But what happens is you have to grow into your north again. Some people have to grow into their north again. Some people have already grown into their north. But this is the thing. When you found out this information, you had to start. It ignited you. It put some pep in your step. Sometimes you don't know that you have to get moving until somebody puts some fire under you, because other than that you would get complacent. And sometimes God just be like, look at them all swinging their legs, not even knowing that it's the enemy right up on their shoulder, and they just sitting there. Do 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 do. Look at their dumb ass. Bow. Then you get hit. God say, bow. I gotta hit you. I gotta hit you before I let the enemy hit you. You might be mad at me for a second, but you'll be even madder at me if I let the enemy get you. So sometimes he's got to knock you off kilter so that you can get on your good foot. Because if he'd have let you sit there comfortable, they would have consumed you. They would have gotten you. They would have proceeded. They would have won. They would have been celebrating again, because they celebrated when they made the plan. But then they would have really, really celebrated had they won. So sometimes he's got to knock you off kilter and keep you off your comfort so that you can stay on your swivel and stay on your pivot, so that you can stay wide open. Because once you see the whites of their eyes, it's almost too late. You should have already pulled the trigger of life, some movement, some something. That's a lyric in one of my songs, my first one. The master that they stole at the airport. BWI, by the way. They stole my guitar, my father's rings. They stole my son's first piece of luggage. They stole his clothes, his tennis shoes, and 3 brand new dresses. I hope all that you deserve comes through for you for stealing from me. But yeah, sometimes you don't even know that you need to protect yourself until something happens that makes you feel unprotected. And then you start looking around and you notice that things aren't good. You're not safe. You're surrounded by the enemy. However familiar they are, they're the enemy. Sometimes when the enemy cannot get into you, he'll come through you. I know that now. See, they knew they couldn't get close to me from birth because I already activated. From that first episode of The Simpsons, actually, late night in Edmondson Village. And that's when it got worse and worse. More money started leaving from America to Trinidad because somebody had to do that work. Somebody had to put that child to sleep. Them eyes were too big. She's going to see something. She remembers a lot. And she keeps trying to write. I've got to block her pineal gland. I've got to calcify her. And the saddest part is now I really realize that my dad helped. At times pushing me almost in cholesterol, pushing me into diabetes, pushing me into high blood pressure. He would give me sandwiches literally made with mayonnaise and butter at the same time with bologna. I hate bologna. I was made into a piglet on purpose so that I wouldn't be attractive. Can you imagine being sabotaged before you even know how to really spell it without checking? So then, of course, I had to learn how to spell really fast. And it didn't matter. Even with my little fat ass, I was still kind of cute. Always, always. Someone's always had a crush. But then again, every time someone had a crush on me, it was followed up with some kind of weird interaction. And next thing you know, I'm a duty hit, or I'm getting pushed, or something like that. Because someone has to definitely keep me away from love, because I have the greatest love of all. And if I actually should ever come into fruition with the spouse of my dreams, then kaput. Things would have to change then, because there'd be so much love it'd have to be projected out, and then somebody get the heebie-jeebies, called love. So some of us collective, since we've been born, we have been separated from everyone who we've actually genuinely really been interested in because they panic. Can you imagine you emit so much energy by yourself, but then if the two of you actually happen to get behind closed doors, the amount of energy that would come out of there, it would be almost like one of those Chinese generators pushing out so much power that something would definitely melt. Maybe even you. So with all fairness, High Priestess, Gemini, fairness, law and justice, things will be made right. You will have your night. The thing about it is, you guys will have to adjust. You guys will have to grow. And this is why the knight is here and not the king. The king is a finished product. The knight is something you build upon. You level up with. So ladies and gentlemen, the level up is approaching. Gemini season, moon, Libra, things will be made right, brought into balance, even if they are off balance now. Okay, Gemini, that was your reading. 2 and 11, that is 13. Death and transformation. You are putting an end to whatever is going on in your current cycle and going into a new cycle. Congratulations. Level up. All right, Cancer. Hello, good morning. Hello and good morning. We are in Leo season after Cancer. Even though we still have remnants of retrograde, which brings feelings back and brings feelings forward. There are some people who had feelings for you and they never wanted to speak on it because they weren't sure that you would be receptive to it. However, you weren't supposed to be receptive to everyone, so it's okay. Cancer, you weren't supposed to be receptive to everyone, and that's something that a lot of us have to learn. Even though we might have had a moment in exchange that might have seemed genuine at the time, everything was not that deep. Some of us stayed too long where we were supposed to only be visiting. You were supposed to experience that person and know when it was time to go. A lot of us try not to be the bad guy, never ever wanting things to end on a bad note. However, you're thinking way too much. It can't be bad if you're not supposed to be together. What's worse is that you guys get stuck by a bill, by a pill, or by a child. Because then now it's a disruption in the energy, and now you've made another one of Noah's nightmares. Don't let that go over your head. Some things weren't supposed to be on the boat. So Cancer, we have the four swords, rest and restoration. 3 of Pentacles, minds, collaboration. We have the 8, which is strength, resilience, infinity loop sometimes for others. Resilience, strength, stubbornness, loops, endless loops, cycles. So someone's Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, Leo. This is the Cancer reading. Okay, so we got the 4 and the 3 and the 8. Which is 8, which is 16, which is a tower moment. The way I'm looking at this card, somebody's sick and somebody's trying to figure out there, and there's a group trying to figure out a way to bring you out of that. So there's a group trying to figure out how to make things better for whoever this is down. I don't know if this is somebody's practitioner, somebody's root worker, somebody's boyfriend, somebody's husband, somebody's man. Whoever this person is, they're being put down or made to not feel so well. They don't feel good, so they've got to go take a seat, right?
This group is trying to figure out another way, another plan, another angle, another direction, another something, right? They're all together. They're all putting their head together, they're trying to affect a last stance, a strength. They've had a lot of last stance, just like the X-Men, huh? Yeah, just like that. I don't know how many times Jay-Z said he was retiring. So yeah, these people keep saying they're going to pack it up and leave, but then they got somebody that says, no, I got one more angle. Let's try this one more time. Let's do this. Because right now, somebody's feeling some kind of way. It might be a man, it might be a woman who is the leader. That can be masculine, seen as masculine, and somebody is the leader. Might be a female practitioner, we don't know. But somebody is down for the count, and everybody's trying to get things back on the ball. And maybe the leader will feel a little bit better if maybe they actually got some stuff done right. But there's a last stance of some type of strength. They're trying to keep at it. They're trying to keep this thing going. Somebody doesn't want it to end because, see, this is what happens, okay? Even though we go actually find something to do, we actually go find some gainful employment that does not have to do with following another human being and affecting their living situation. There are people that actually like this, and that's their mode of work. So if you go heal and go somewhere, they'll no longer be able to gainfully employ off of destroying your life. And that means ultimately their life will be destroyed because they built their foundation off of destroying you and your foundation. So effectively, if you move forward, they're fired. So they really can't afford to let you go. However much they were or were not getting paid, it was something as opposed to getting nothing and waiting to get another target. So some people like the fact that they've been targeting you for 20, 20, 10, 20, 30 years, 5 years, however long, and they found it fruitful and they found it convenient because, hey, if I've only got to do this and this person, then cool. Now they've got to find someone else because we're moving off. We're pushing off the sales. We ain't got time for this. Nobody got time to entertain you like this all this time. And honestly, if this was what you wanted to do for the rest of your life, you got to really think about what kind of life you live. And what kind of life you think you're going to deserve after doing so much. You know you got to pay the piper no matter what. I don't care whose pew you end up on. I don't care how much you start living at the church. I've seen some people come to some very horrible ends, even hiding at the church, thinking that the church was going to hide them from the things that they've already done. I remember when that lady got stabbed at the church. Bear with me because this might trigger you, because this is the way I think. When the lady got stabbed up at the church, the one thing I said, it was personal, because how did you get close up on this lady to pull out a knife and do that to her? Most older females have something called female intuition, and there's years of experience there. So for that person to be able to get that close to her and stab her, that meant that that person was somewhat familiar, or at some point had made her drop her defenses. And here's the thing. Babies are the start of old people. And in between that, there's life. There's elementary, middle, high school, maybe college, maybe a few things. Life happens and then you get old. And I guess that's why in the Bible, Jesus got missing for some years and then he pops up when he got wisdom. Because they don't really want us to know how things probably went back and forth during those formative years. See, because we all grow. And I think the reason why is because they don't want us to get so caught up in those formative years. Whoever decided to write down and pen the Bible. So when I saw the news thing, I said, oh man, I wonder who's in that family, what that lady knows. And everybody looked at me like, I'm going to pray for that lady. And I said, I'm not saying don't pray for her. What I'm saying is, we don't know what's on this lady's hands. Because somebody walk up and stab you is pretty personal. Did he know her? Did she do something? Did she set somebody up? Did she piss somebody off years ago? What was she like in her heyday? Because a lot of people forget what they do when they were younger, when they were out there in them streets, and they think when they get old, that automatically gives them a default protection, and it really does not. If your hands are dirty, your hands are dirty. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, you never know what a person does, and you can't always assume that they're innocent. Right now, I'm the most suspicious of all. When somebody passes away, I'm looking at who avoids eye contact, who tries not to speak so much. Cause are you cool? Knowing what I know now, knowing that there are so many people, so many players, so many movements in the background, I remember Much Soul as being a thespian. The people who used to set the stage used to wear all black so that they can come on the stage while we were actually acting and work around us, and the camera wouldn't easily pick them up. I think it's much like that. Life is just exactly like what's going on in the theater. Because the people who set the stage always wear black so that they don't get picked up by the cameras. Lately, since they changed technology, I think they have a thing in where they wear certain colors that actually can be reflected out, like the green screen. So now they got them wearing green, and they can actually put that out like that because technology has surely changed. So someone's got one last trick, and they're trying to put on a last dance. You make sure you keep up with your spiritual hygiene. You make sure that you keep up with your studies. Whatever you're doing, hold it close to your chest, because these people are not done. They're relentless. Some people will. Some people have ruined their chances of entering the actual workforce, and in their pursuance of you. They went so hard in the paint that they really didn't think about their future. They didn't ever think about, what if this job ends? What if this position ends? Will I be able to put in an application at Walmart, McDonald's, or anywhere? Will I be able to pass a background check? A lot of you ruined your next step trying to ruin our next step. A lot of you ruined your futures trying to ruin our kids. A lot of you ruined your kids trying to ruin our futures. But anything's got to be better than getting a regular job, because I told myself you were a loser when you were working your regular job, so I had to stay where I told you I was going to stay at, which is on the outside of a regular job, because I called you a doo-doo head because you were clocking in like a punk. Now I don't even have an option of being a punk if I wanted to. I took those options away from me. So now I'm a cad. So somebody has to definitely try to find a way to make this work, or else they're going to have to try to figure out a way to make their way in the world some other kind of way, and they really just can't see it because they don't have that imagination. This is why they took that job in the first place. Catch 22. So there you go, Cancer. That is 3 and a 4 with a 7, and that's an 8. A 3 and a 4, that's a 7, and that's an 8. That is a 15, which is the devil. You guys are obsessed. And that's why the Rev 4. That's why the Rev 4, the Mercury Sable, the one that looks like a Ford, and then the Ford that looks like the Mercury Sable, the one that looks like the Ford Focus, or whatever that new cop car is that's a Ford. And then the Impala, no, the baby Impala, not the big Impala. And then the different kinds of Mercedes, and there's the coupes, there's the BMW coupes, that's nice. But then they've got the Rat Pack and Scat Packs coming, trying to be nostalgic, because I did have a Challenger, but none of you drive it like I do. None of you give the operation like I do. I don't care how clean your car is. You're just not giving. And I didn't clean my car for 2 years, and I still shitted on you. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But that's just to let you know that I was in my feminine masculine, and that's why a lot of you men felt like I was emasculating you because I didn't need you to put my gas in my car. Neither did I need to borrow your car because 9 times out of 10, most of your cars were bitch cars and I had the manly car. And you didn't like that because I was way too feminine to be so bossy. I had big kahunas. I still do. That's another thing. And I think that's why I used to pick the ones with the small members because I had the big kahunas. But now I think I'm going to supersize. I've erred on the safe side way too long, and I've definitely kept myself intact. So, maximize it. I can't help myself. Okay, so let's get on with the show. Leo. That was Cancer that just went out and it turned into obsession. It was 15. It was the devil, and the devil is Capricorn. So definitely that was that in there for the Cancer. So the Cancer, for real, it's not fun anymore. The Cancer is kind of panicky. Even though they might find themselves trying to laugh off, it's almost like a grimace. It's a painful laugh. They don't really find shit funny right now because their money is not the honey, okay? They were looking for the land of milk and honey. They were hoping that they could future fake their way into a monkey branching situation where they can absorb someone's finances and then go off to the next relationship. Not really making a relationship, but actually securing a nice path. You see, Sheila and Walter need a supplier. And he's the one that actually gets the access from all the databases and gets to go find the targets so that he could definitely go and find them a dealer and make sure that he brings them their supply. And it doesn't matter if he uses all the young girls in the city, gives them STDs or not. He has someone who makes a lot of money who's also trapped with him, and they're also trapped together because of the boyfriend they don't want to come out in public with, because he's part of the scheme too. He's half of a whole and part of a pie. So see, when somebody can't pay the dealer, they give them money in other ways, and the other ways are through the energy and the sacral energy of all the young girls that this man tender swindlers. And after that, that is his currency, and he monkey branches from one beautiful pretty pocket to the next, gathering information, social security, gathering kids information, whatever he can, because they callously break all of that information down and they tell themselves that they're going to do this, that, and the third. And this person is used to make sure that they are the ones that are going into the city because they are around everybody. So it doesn't look suspicious that they are around those type of people. However, his family unit is supposed to be held in high honor, so they can't be seen in such places. They have to act like aristocrats, even though you do see the track lines and the very decrepit bodies under the beautiful designer dresses. You see the lack of nutrition in the skin, the lack of elasticity. You see the addiction to the money, the highs of the attention, the big parties thrown looking like fundraisers, even though it's only raising funds for the next high supply. But you shouldn't know that because they are the ones that press the buttons that run the people in the city. You know, the different departments, the different heads, and you're trying to figure out why that lady comes in the morning looking and acting in certain ways, and why she's always got to go out to use the phone is because she's hitting a lick too. You're on the block. She's in the office. But you guys have the same goal. Is to take money from other people so that you could live your lives as best as possible in front of other people while telling people that you don't live a bad life, you live a good life. While simultaneously taking someone else's good life and cashing in on them. See, they have the middle class eating the middle class, and spoon feeding some of the middle class energy to some of the lower class so that they can stay out of the way. I mean, it looks like just like when those people took over the prison, and then you found out that those people that were making nearly $80,000 a year were throwing their lives away for a good chance at maybe becoming a millionaire or maybe going to jail in exchange for the career that they trained so hard for. So you see, some of these people do not take small risks. They are taking big risks. But however, it's just like lottery. There's a drop in the bucket. Yeah, someone will win, but a lot of times it won't be you. But they are willing to take that chance. Okay. Leo, what's up? Yeah, that part. Seven of Cups, illusions, dreams, visions, desires, materialistic at sometimes, but beautiful desires. Someone desires to see or have beautiful things, possess beautiful things. There's a lot of mental clarity here, and there's the Three of Wands. There's the preparation. There's the building of momentum. So someone has beautiful desires. There's a lot of mental clarity. Someone is very clear on their path. They're clear in the way in which they want to take. They're clear in who they want to take and who is definitely not going. Some people are more clear on who's not going than they are on who's going. And that is okay, because you still have to use discernment, and you still have to be ready to jump ship if there is ever a ship to jump. What are you talking about? I'm 15. Okay, Seven of Cups, Ace of Swords, Three of Wands. So we've got a wish fulfillment here. Someone is definitely clear on their path. They see what they want. They see what they desire. It looks pretty to them. It's a va-va-voom. Maybe I am going crazy, so I'm going to let you look at it. This looks like someone has a picture on exactly where they want to go. They know what they want it to look like. They know what they want. They know something. They have a foresight. Someone is seeing something and they're about to go for it. They're about to go hard in the paint. And that's what I got for Leo. Scorpio and Aries energy. Oh, heck yeah. This person is ready to go. Scorpio is a water sign, a passionate sign. Aries is a leader, fire sign. So with these things together in the mental clarity, somebody's about to steamroll something over and go and get what they want. I don't suggest you stand in their way. This is what I got. Scorpio and Aries, I got a 7 and a 3, and that's wish fulfillment. And with this right here, it is protected. Somebody's goal is protected. All right, North Node, let's go. All right, that was the Leo reading, and it was a lot of Aries, Scorpio in it. Take what resonates, Sun, Moon, Rising. Please be aware, it doesn't have to be that sign. It's all about the personalities and the traits. Planetary alignment. And that was a 10. That was wish fulfillment. We have some complete cycles and wish fulfillment. And we have some prayers. Prayers and prayers. All right, we got Hierophant, Knight of Swords. That's Virgo. Hierophant, Knight of Swords, and Four of Wands. That means someone is coming in hot, heavy, and they're going to be... they're going to have good manners, but they're coming. Okay, so in the Four of Wands, that is foundation. Aries again. Aries, you've been out here all day. You've been out here all morning. Aries just been in almost all the readings. Someone's trying to take over my reading with all that energy. What you doing? You talk about Willis. All right, so we got the Hierophant, which is the 5. That is values, morals, institutions, businesses, things that you go into, how the world see you and how you see yourself versus the world, in your values, okay? Are you morally bankrupt? Are you morally rich? Are you spiritually rich? Okay, let's go. So we've got the Hierophant, the Knight of Swords, and the Four of Wands in Virgo. What's going on? I just need to check out the Knight of Swords just to be clear when it comes to this. Feeling very ambitious, having super focused attention. That's either a Taurus, Hierophant, business owner. There's a big boss. There's a boss feeling ambitious and they have focused attention, which means that they're locked in. Somebody has tunnel vision and they want nothing more than to secure their foundation. We have Taurus and we have Aries once again. Someone is really locked in on this happy ending. Somebody wants to sail off the calmer waters, no matter what that means. Whether it be with a family or not, they are ready to go and build their foundation. They want their business, they want their home, they want some land, they want something established, and they want it so bad. They want this. It is a very powerful thing for them, and they are praying, they are manifesting. We have the 5 and the 4. That is the only numbers that are out here, which comes to a 9, which is divine, which is praying, which is they have joined groups. They have done a lot of things to put themselves in alignment with what they want. Now it's time that now that they've gathered all of the resources, how are they going to apply it and get these things done? Now is the time. It's time. Oh man, I wish I had a dinner bell. I've got to invest in a bell so that we can ring that, because it's time. It's time. It's definitely time. Okay, well, let's just bang the gavel. It's time. Okay, so we've got the 9. We've got the Hierophant, the Knight of Swords. Ambitious. I hate paraphrasing. That's why I be going back to the book a lot. Ambitious, super focused attention. And there's your foundation, your happy foundation. You're on your way. Something about the yellow brick road. Not figuratively, but you know what I'm saying. Stay on the path. Remember, Dorothy had to stay on the path. The red shoes were for the confidence in the steps. Make bold steps. Make solid, concrete steps. Like I said, we have the 5 Hierophant, the Knight of Swords. That's air and fire. Hey, you know what air and fire do? They blow torch. Yep. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. Definitely go forward with lots of confidence. There you go, Aries. So we got Taurus and Aries. That's grounded fire, which means, yeah, that's definitely a pit fire. That's definitely something to talk over. That's definitely very spiritual. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. That was a Virgo. Aries and Virgo with Taurus. Doesn't have to be that sign. Take what resonates. Sun, moon, rising. Okay, let me shuffle up, shuffle up, shuffle up so we can get over to Libra. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Pentacles and a Tower, okay? There's a Queen of Pentacles going through a tower. Have no idea. I'm not going into that right now, but I just told you what happened. It's crazy because the guy on the plane was, his last name was Watson. 2 of Wands, 10 of Wands, Page of Swords. What's up with that? 2 of Wands, hindsight, foresight. What's going on? You're planning, you're prepping. You've got the Eagle, so it's a lot of oversight. There's a lot of overhead. You got overhead, you got somebody funding you, got somebody sending you money, somebody is the resource. What's going on? You make a bill, you call somebody, they pay it. What's going on? Looks like you got overhead. Looks like an eagle. Looks like it's... Now, the eagle can be the government, because you know the United States government, it's the eagle, right? So somebody has oversight, which is government. Could be government. 10 of Wands, they've got heavy burdens. Somebody got a heavy assignment. This is their assignment. Oh, boy. hey, it's in the cards. I'm just reading what the cards are saying. Other than that, I'd be oracling. And sometimes when I'm yeah, sometimes when I say I don't say everything that I'm oracling when I'm oracling. So when it's in the cards, I say what the cards say, and that basically said that somebody works for the United States. United States. It's the government oversight. As you're as you're planning, there's oversight. Okay, then we got the Ten of Wands. Somebody's got a very heavy assignment. It's a burden. Somebody gets thrills. It actually gives them it's like a challenge. Somebody likes the challenge of having such an assignment, even if they're not okay with the mission. It's the assignment. Somebody likes to be a soldier. Somebody likes to take orders, and they like being able to get the orders done, whether or not they agree with what it is or not. They like being the person that likes to execute orders, even if they have to dress like that. They'll take a swipe in just about anything as long as they fulfill the order. So someone has a lot of oversight. Somebody's watching them to make sure that they get the job done. It's a very heavy burden. They like being able to get through burdens, even though this burden seems to be heavier than most. But they like taking chances, risks. They like coming up with new ideas, trying to get it done, even if they got to dress like this. Okay, so we've got 2 and a 10. 2 and a 10, which is 12. That is the hangman. Everything is in stagnation. It's a deadlock. Something ain't moving forward. All right, there you go. That was Libra. Something is not moving forward. I don't know who's the straw man, who's the one man in, who's the inside guy, whoever the hell that is. They're stagnated. I said what I said, what I said. All right, there you go. All righty, all righty, all righty. Scorpio, what it is. I got you. Temperance, 6 of Cups, 3 of Cups. Woo! 14 and 9. 14 and 9 makes that 23. Makes that 5. Unexpected. Scorpio, Scorpio, remember our temperance. Don't smack nobody's taste out their mouth until you understand what they was about to say. Because you might have cut off your message. I know, right? We so good about not people letting people play with us. Sometimes we don't understand it. Sometimes you got to let people play a little bit so that you can understand that you're going to play back, okay? So, don't get froggy just yet. 6 of Cups, remember, what you sow is what you will reap. 3 of Cups, there will be a celebration, collaboration in the end of things. You will be meeting your soul tribe. Remember to hold tight, hold the line with your temperance. Be aware of rage baiters. Be aware that people that come around to extract information out of you. Some people know exactly how to get you. Some people get you in with sugar. Some people get you in with vinegar. Some people just get you in with straight salt. Somebody's going to come in and try to extract information out of you, or try to get what your next move is, or try to stagnate your next move. It is important that you don't get caught unawares, or don't divulge what your next move is. Sometimes they're using your kids to get to you. Sometimes they're using your cousin, your fridge, the lady at the grocery store, the shopkeeper. They might ask a weird question out of the blue. You're like, this person never talks to me. All of a sudden, they're asking me what I'm doing for the weekend. Things of that nature. Just be aware. I remember one day when during the school year last year, the bus driver, for some reason, she asked me 2 times until I stopped answering her. What, you going to go meet some man? Like, it seemed like she kept asking me about my love life. I was walking up the street about to go somewhere, and I had my guitar with me, and she was like, what, you about to go see your boyfriend? And I'm like, and a lot of people joke like that, but really they be for real. They're really trying to find out what you're going to say and how you're going to respond. And how you respond is basically sometimes some of their business, or sometimes they just take it down just to take it to somebody else so that they can break down how that information came out. And you could say something like this. Girl, I ain't thinking about no dude. What you talking about? And they'll take that information back like that. And somebody will try to break it down and assume whether or not you have a man or not. So be careful with the answers you're giving out. Sometimes you think you're just giving out like regular information. This means the world to somebody else. I know for a fact that they're very, very, very invested in what my love life and my financial life and my business life looks like. Because they're trying to control me. There's some asshole that really doesn't want me to get anything because they just hate the fact that I know how to get it by myself. So they want to make it seem as though they did something, and the proof is in the pudding. I don't know where these people are that's supposed to be doing so much for me. They haven't done anything for me from the beginning, even when I was in their presence. So to actually magically become a person that I'm dependent on is just fucking wild to me. What drug did you take? It certainly had to be a drug to feel as though I was a dependent when everybody who's ever been around me has drawn off of me. And that's why the coffers have ended. Because the same people who needed me for everything turned around and told people that I gave them nothing and that they gave me everything. And that shit was just a mind fuck right there. I said, have you seen these pieces of shit? Really? And the ones that look decent have definitely stolen from me. Let's not get this twisted. And even with nothing, I still look like something. So somebody's got their damn head busted. Crazy. Anyway, remember your temperance, right? What you give is what you'll take. You'll automatically get what you need. Sometimes God lets things happen to you just so people can shut up, so you can be the proof in the pudding. Because people really think that they are the reason why you are there, not knowing that your very existence gives them space to breathe. Because you walked, they were able to crawl. Because you're able to run, they're able to walk. And some people would like to put it the other way around, but the proof is in the pudding. So you will get a soul tribe sooner or later. You will get people much like you who are on your vibration. Like I said, everybody's north is different. You will find somebody that aligns with your north. Some of us are very foundational. So to allow somebody who has not built anything, not even themselves up, not even their own children, not even nothing, to allow one of those people to destroy the foundational, which even the most worst people need in order to exist, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's like saying you don't need the first step. You just need the second, third, and the fifth one. So how do we safely get to the second step? And this is why the foundationals have been moved out of the way so that you could see that you indeed needed some people. Some people thought they didn't need Maya Angelou until they related. Some people thought they could do without Martin Luther King until they related. Some people thought they could do without John F. Kennedy until they related. You see where I'm going with this? Some people became public figures for a reason, because if you only had sometimes your mom and your dad as a role model, you wouldn't get up and do shit. So you need foundational people for the inspiration to make the salt of the earth. Those are the minerals. Those are the things you need. These are the things you find on the periodic table. These are foundational elements. And like it or not, or believe it or not, there are people on this earth that are foundational elements. If they don't exist, a lot of things don't get created. A lot of things don't get made. A lot of steps won't get made. They won't be taken. Some of your children will stay children in the mind and they'll only grow in the body. We've seen that way too many times. We've got too much of that happening. We have developed bodies and underdeveloped minds. Very infantile thinking. I don't know if anybody's ever saw that movie called Idiocracy. I think Minnie Riperton's daughter plays in it. I forget what her name is when I tried to pull it up, but she played in Bridesmaids. Very, very funny movie. She played the actual bride. Minnie Riperton's daughter. She played in that movie. It's called Idiocracy, where people are allowed to make large amounts of monies off of remembering what images look like on pictures because they're no longer required to read words. And your money is loaded into your skin, into some type of tattoo. That was all on a movie. I told you my university was very, very different than yours or my news. So, like I said, be aware of the signs and synchronicities. Your soul tribe is there. You have to realize what your north is before you understand how everybody else's north is in alignment or out of alignment with yours. Some people's north looks like a south to some of us, and that's okay. Someone woke him up. Hey, darling, why you wake up like that? Good morning. Straight like you don't say good morning, nothing. Good morning. Come here. So frustrated. What's up? First of all, hi. Good morning. Okay. Now, you need something to drink? Sure. Go over there, get something to drink, and we'll get you situated. Okay. So, we've got 14 and 9. And we've already said that that was 23. So that's 5 in unexpected changes. Be aware of what comes into your area. Remember your rage baiting. Remember your temperance. Remember your attitude. Remember. There will be people that will be entering your auric field trying to get information, poking and prodding ever so gently because they need an unbiased answer. They need you not to think before you answer. So it's important that you think before you answer in any situation, okay? If you're not answering yourself, you need to think before you answer, even if it's a child, because children are so innocent. They'll repeat just about anything. So you can't be caught unawares by your child. Okay? Be aware of that. All right, there you go, Scorpio. Let's get over to Sagittarius. We started off at Aries, so the last one will be Pisces. The devil fell right out on Sagittarius, and then the magician fell upside down. Somebody's not manifesting. They're like, their manifestation powers have not like kind of wonky. Your wand kind of putting out dust there. Somebody's sacral energy is very low. The lovers came out in Sagittarius. The magician, somebody's not manifesting love right now. They're not manifesting a lot of anything. They're not manifesting a lot of equal give and take. Sometimes it's not just love, it's just attention, company. Somebody's not getting love right now. They're upside down in the love thing. Oh, somebody's love spell backfired. That's the magician upside down. So the backfire, a lot of times, if somebody puts out a love spell and it backfires and things aren't right, the love isn't requited, it doesn't quite go, or the spell or whatever is broken, that person goes through a season of no love or no good love, bad connections, fragmented at best, lots of infidelity, things of that nature, third party situations. Let me read the. So somebody is trying to learn. Somebody is researching how to fix it. They don't like being in this energy. Even though they were basically trying to put somebody in this energy and it backfired, now they're trying to fix it. They're trying to find somebody to take it off of them. The energy off. Somebody's trying to look for a cleansing. This shit is so funny. Somebody tried to put a love spell and it backfired. So somebody put a love spell either on a homeboy or a homegirl to take their man. Or to take their friends, to take their family, to take their business opportunities, to take something. So that's why a person would do a love spell on you to take opportunities away from you, right? or do a love spell on your person so that they can extract whatever good was coming to you, right? Now it's backfired. Now they living in the same thing that they wanted for you, and now they trying to get the hex off of them. But the thing is, if any one of you did a return to sender, they've got to finish that cycle out. However long they wanted that crap for you, being as though it backfired, now they've got to sit through that cycle. And now somebody's trying to go to church, they're trying to read the Bible, they're trying to pray, but they wasn't calling to Jesus when they was hexing you. When they was doing that spell work, when they lit that candle, they were like, yeah, they ain't gonna have nothing. They ain't gonna have nothing. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't done nothing. But now it's a boof, done blew up in their face, and now they got to deal with what they wanted for others. And this is why you should be very careful with what you wish for others, because if it should happen to you, now what? Now the outrage. Now you're clutching your pearls. Get out of here. Anyway, serious is serious. I don't know what you're gonna do because it's a complete psycho. Look, 6. I got real ghetto with that. And a 1. And that's a 7. And that's a complete cycle. Ain't nobody getting none, hun. So may your tents be empty and your coppers bare. Okay? Ow! I keep on dropping the magician. Damn, somebody dropped you too, so ain't nobody messing with you like that either. Damn, you can't even go to nobody. Oh, the weapon did form, but it did not. Oh, well, it did prosper too, just in the opposite direction. I like that. I love that. I like it a lot. I like it. I like it a lot. And new beginnings. So somebody is definitely now off of the love binding. So now they are free to find a love using discernment, because here's the thing. If they were able to intercept anything from you, that meant that that thing wasn't highly vibrational enough, or you weren't vibrating high enough to stop it at the time. Now that you are aware, now you can get into alignment with what you really need to use, what you really need to be pursuing. And if somebody left you over a love spell, that person wasn't for you anyway, because they were in alignment with what that was, which was low balling. So don't fret. Don't forget. If that man cheat on you, just get another one. Which you can't get another one, hun? Why you gonna keep recycling him? He's already been in the trash. Capricorn. 3 of Swords, heartbreak, anxiety, love loss, unrequited love. 5 of Swords, a battle. Don't allow your authority to ruin others, and there's the new beginning. Swords. Somebody got cut. Heartless. Heartless. Somebody took their heart and said, yeah, I'm going to put that in my back pocket and I'm going to sit down hard. Life knocks everyone down. The choice lies within whether you want to remain down for the rest of your life or rise again. Saturn and Libra. We are in Saturn retrograde, dealing with heartbreak, transforming emotional pain. Someone is traveling emotional pain and they're trying not to rain on everybody else's parade. However, they are. That looks like your boss not being able to get any from his wife, and then keeping you late at night because they know that you have a lover at home waiting for you. And they want you to be exhausted because they know that their wife is going to tell them that they have a headache and they ain't getting none. So they need you to be in the same exact energy so you guys are in alignment. And maybe they can probably hit on you. Yeah, sometimes that's what supervisors do in their dynamic. They're not happy at home, so they become more important at work. And then they get in their head that they're just going to be important at your home instead of, because they're not important at their home. So they're going to be this discussion that you having at your home because there's no discussion at their home. In fact, as soon as they leave, their partner leaves and goes to go get what they really damn want. Yeah, they going to Burger King and they having it their way. However that means. So they tell themselves that they have to make you miserable and destroy your life, your home, and your happiness because they're not important in their house. Nobody's there wagging like a dog for them except the dog. And a dog is wagging because of essentials needs and maybe a need to have to go to the bathroom. So once they really deal with the reality that nobody's really happy that they're home, they're just happy that they're paying the bills. They come into the job and they look at everybody and they pick the happiest person and they decide that they're going to destroy their happiness because they have no happiness. And that's the problem with being more important at work than at home. Some of you got your priorities jacked up. So somebody's definitely going through a lot and they are transmuting the energy through other people, which means they want you to go through the karma that they are going through. Some of us are not trying to go through that misery. Some of us too dang happy, too dang blessed to let somebody stress us out. And that's one of the reasons why they'll get a group of people. They'll find somebody else who nobody likes in the office and sit down and talk with them about you. And now there's a team against you and your happiness for no damn reason other than you happy and they ain't. And then you might get the internet and social media sleuth that says, oh, let's follow them and see what else they got going on because they're not happy and nobody wants them and nobody's following them. So they take it, they make an extra side job out of destroying you and your happiness because nobody likes them and nobody's happy to see them. And they notice how even in your personal life, everybody's happy to see you. Even if they aren't the best for you, they're happy to see you. And they hate how strangers are happy to see you. And if you are in social in any kind of social gathering, or if you are in any kind of hospitality or human services, they don't like how your clients receive you. They don't like that you don't get bad reviews. They don't like how you seem to be balanced in life without any of their input. You don't even come to them for advice. In fact, they would like to ask you for advice, but asking you for advice would be too much like admitting that you are doing life well. So instead, they get a team to ostracize and pick you apart to see, well, I don't like her eyebrow, and I don't like his blink, and I don't like their teeth, and I don't like their smile, and I think they have sex for money because why are they so happy when I make more than them? And I can't get none. You got to watch out for those people. Especially the ones who get more money than you and they find your little small life so damn interesting. They want to pick apart your crumbs. They actually want to hunch on your bums because it looks so happy over there. As opposed to their $300,000 house and their $300 spouse and all that good stuff in their purse and their dogs and everything. They've got everything you think, and you would think that they would be happy, but the thing is, they've got to balance the books. They've got to get this stuff clean. They've got to pay the bills. They've got to clean this stuff. They've got to keep things in order. They don't know where their husband goes when they say that they're working overtime. They can't be sure of the thing because they know that they're not getting anything, because the last time they asked for sex, you were too busy looking someone up on the internet that wasn't none of your business, and they saw you as weird, so they went to go and find somebody who looked like the person that you were looking up because they looked happy. So now your coffers are compromised because now your guy who you've got everything with is looking for somebody who's happy with what they got, because obviously you're not happy with shit. Because instead of you be happy with what you got and turn over and give that man the loving and attention that he wants, because that's what you guys built that life for, so that you guys can come into each other, he comes in and you're on the internet talking about somebody who has not as much as you and you have built, and you're not happy with it. And he looks at you, he's like, well, she's not happy with it. But you put that signal out there when he came in and wanted to kiss, and you were so busy fussing about the girl who has nothing, but you were upset about her happiness. See, you didn't tell him that you were upset about her happiness. He gathered that by the fact that you were scrolling through her things. And you couldn't have been happy because you got everything. You got all the purses, the perfume, you've got everything, yet you are stalking somebody who you yourself said don't have as much as you. So if they don't have as much of you and I walk in this room and you're not happy to see me, I'm going to determine that the happiness is on that screen. So if happiness is not here in this room that we have worked so hard to build together, then maybe that person does have something that you don't have. And that's happiness. And I'm going to go and get some of that. You stay here with all your things, making your own self miserable by watching somebody else's happiness. And I'm going to take my part of what we built together and I'm going to go find happy. And this is how you poke a hole in your own shit by meddling. Go somewhere and be satisfied. And that is the Capricorn reading. Because someone is obsessed with someone else's happiness. So they're allowing their authority and their position in life to try to ruin others and try to destroy a new beginning. When honestly, if they would stop hating for a moment, they could start a new beginning with whatever they got going on. Or at least stop where they are and realize that they've created a situation of unhappiness and they need to start a new beginning. Sometimes when you're not minding your business, who's minding yours? All right. So that was the Capricorn reading. Let's go. That the signs was Libra, Aquarius, and we've got water. No, we got fire. Libra, Aquarius. So somebody's angry. Not only are they obsessed, they are angry and they're addicted to looking up other people's and destroying their joy because even though they've got everything in the world materialistic, what they don't have is happiness and joy. And that is priceless. All right, Aquarius, let's go. Did I give you the numbers again? That was 5 and 3, which is 8, which is karma. Be on the other side, which is dharma. All right, so let's go, Aquarius. We are going to wrap up with Pisces. We have gone around the mountain and we come. Hey, the lovers just dropped, but I'm not going to take this card right now because I just had it. Okay, so let's go and shuffle, and if the lovers come back out, then so be it, and let it be. All right, so Aquarius, here we are. Somebody is throwing energy. I wasn't sweating maybe 2 seconds ago, wasn't. Somebody's definitely trying to work their way into my energy. It's okay. I like burning calories. Page of Cups. Someone's deep in the feelings. While this wish fulfillment is coming up and is the Three of Pentacles, someone's having a meeting. Like I said, there are people that actually get money. They get everything, but they don't get happiness. And some people actually get their thrills through happy hunting people. I'm hunting people's happiness, okay? So someone's definitely really deep in their feelings. They're so deep, they're on the floor. You know how much pressure it takes to be that deep down in the deep in your feelings? That's pressure. Somebody's going to give themselves an aneurysm trying to destroy somebody else's wish fulfillment. Maybe that's their wish, is to actually go into the hospital and hopefully they can call that person and make them cry and then die, happy that they made somebody look sad. But wouldn't it be a damn catch-22 if the person that they wanted to make sad actually came through the door and was like, oh, well, damn, que sera, sera. And then they got to check out with their last wish denied. Imagine someone's last wish is to see you not smile. And then you show up all happy and shit. What? They checking out? This is hospice care, right? Oh, okay. All right now. You looking good there. Yeah. The upper room. We go to the upper room. I can imagine now. I'm a bit morbid, okay? I can be that way. I am based in reality. I don't sell myself stuff. Okay, so, and I did used to do hospice care, so I do know what that looks like. I used to be the sentinel at the gates, so to speak. I used to be the one to call the family in. I had to hear the rattle in the chest and know what the look like so that I can call the family and get them there before the person crosses over. And I used to be very good at that. So, yeah, somebody's putting themselves in the ground because they're pissed off you're above it. Yep, that's the life of evil. What's evil backwards? Live. I can't make this shit up. So, they're making the last plans and stuff, and who's going to get what and who they don't want to get this, that, and the third. But you know, at the end of the day, God makes the last decision on how things settle. I was so glad that that Notorious Big's daughter ended up with his estate, and I'm so glad that Nipsey Hussle's kids got their estate from their dad. I'm very glad that things were made right, things were made fair, because sometimes, you get into these situations and people don't tell you that they're only with you for the way that you can make their life look. They're only around you because you make them look official. You make them look bona fide. Okay, you are the certification stamp. You're the official mark. You are the seal that makes them legit. And once you erased your John Hancock, you took away your signature, you took away your presence, you took away all that is your access and your protection. They don't look or feel so great, even if they've built off of your reputation. I mean, there are some people that really did build off of your reputation just by knowing you, by association, especially your family. Having you in the family was very convenient. They even didn't even really have to visit you. All they had to do was, share common names and know where your address was, and that people would believe that they were part of your life. But now that you've made a blatant move and you've separated yourself from all those that would draw on your name and give you no credit at all, not telling you, I went into this place and they treated me very nice because I said I knew you. Some people got free out of jail cards because they knew you. Some people got discounts. Some people got new things because they knew you and they were with you when you did business. So they harped on your reputation, the relationships that you have built with people, and some of them actually turned around and burnt your bridge for you. Say, yeah, well, they're not doing so well now. You know how great they were? They're not doing so well now because they want to cut it off from you. They want people to look at you. I remember I walked past Lynn Yankelo, and that was one of my private duties family. I walked past her in Atwater, right there over there by the Belvedere Square, and she said she was like amazed. It was like she didn't know I was alive. So that meant that somebody within the community, somebody within the Jewish or the Caribbean community or the healthcare community might mentioned that maybe something had happened to me that didn't happen to me. So she was very, very surprised when she the way in which she saw me. Very clean, very nice, drinking a cup of hot cocoa. Maybe she thought I was supposed to be coked out and nodding or something, or maybe even dead. But this is the things that people do when they decide that they hate the fact that they weren't a reference. They hate the fact that you can't walk in and use their name to get anything. You might get put out if you use their name as a contact. But just because they were able to use you, now they've got to burn your bridge for you because they don't ever want you to come back across these bridges and grace their presence ever again with all of the goods that you can get off of your clout. Some people decided that you shouldn't have clout. You don't deserve that. There's no way that you're not laying on your back to get all these things and then they happen to find out that you don't. So now they realize that it's because of the relationships and the things that you've built without laying on your back that they had to destroy. Because they want you to do what they had to do to get where they had to go. But they don't know that since you've already built that, now you are that. Now you are the one that people need to come to and drop names to. And they also don't know that had they treated you a lot gently, you wouldn't have burnt their bridges now. See, now that you're in a higher spot, no, you don't use your authority to ruin others. You use your authority to tell the truth and write things out. Because when they thought that they had the authority, yes, the authority of using your name, they did not hesitate to try to burn your bridges, especially when they learned it wasn't got by your britches. There are lots of people upset that you didn't screw your way to the top because they did. And they were very surprised when they went in and they used your name and they didn't get told to do some weird shit for a favor. They actually got access without having to do a lot. And they said, this is how this bitch lives? I hate her. But I love what her name does for me. So some idiot got the idea that they just wanted to be me. They needed to take me out. But this is the thing. You don't have that code. You don't have that signature. You don't have that presence. And anybody that came into your presence and believed that you were me, they really demoted themselves spiritually right away. Because I could never. See, the thing about a self-made person is they have the recipe, they have the blueprint. If they can build themselves up multiple times, they can do it one more time. The thing about you is you needed them to build yourself. And this is why you thought you were going to steal their whole entire operation and give it to yourself. But how can you do that when you take not which was not given? You ain't give shit. So how is you taking it? A lot of you weren't even raised that way. I wasn't even raised that way. I raised myself. So how the hell were you going to take my blueprint? Especially from the idiot who tells you that they raised me. She didn't raise shit. I ran away a lot. I ran to the answers because she was the problem. And this is why she watches me for the answers and tries to tell you that I got it from her. But honestly, how's that going right now? I love that dog on Cannonball 5000. That was a good little cartoon. Cannonball 5000. That's my age too. I'm showing my age with that one. But yeah, there are people that walked into rooms, used your name, and they liked the way it made people pause, move, or take effect. And they said, I hate this whore. Why does she get treated so good when I have tried to treat her bad my whole life? I told her what she wasn't shit. I treated her like she wasn't shit. I even cheated on her. I did so many things to a person whose name, when she walks into a room and her name and her presence gets things done, and I left the prize chasing the prey. And some people don't like what they got. They don't like the result. They don't like what they traded it out for. However, they got to stay over there. So now because they're really embarrassed, they're uber embarrassed, it's a shock to their system. They never thought that they would be on the outside of popularity because they thought they successfully traded anything. I don't know what the hell they were on. Maybe something in a vape. I don't know. That's why I don't vape. Somebody is really upset that their name still doesn't do anything. Out of all of what they built, their name still turns people off. Their name still makes people shut their doors. Their name still makes people say, I'll call them back. And even as much as they've put on my name, as much as they've bothered me and messed with me, people still are interested in this name. You'll be sad to know that some of the rooms you think you've destroyed, they are waiting for me to return back to. They're hoping and they're praying that I come back. Because they remember the signature, they remember the energy, they remember the talks. None of you can talk like this. Not without studying. And that was the case. They're studying how to separate you from whatever it is that makes things happen when you walk in the room. Somebody wants your essence. But it shouldn't be so because it is your essence. And if you should ever leave, then they would have no one to follow. They would have no new material. pages from a book every day. I get up and I blink and I breathe and I'm inspired, and next thing I'm going. There are some people that honestly have to go to school to do this. They have to get so much debt. They have to go to college for so long. They have to play the idiot, the ever giving idiot, for a very long time before they get up and they're ever able to talk like this. Can you imagine being burdened with this much information since the age of talking? And you've always had something to sit and talk about for quite a while. Always. I can only imagine each girlfriend that I had, and every time I stopped talking to the girlfriends because I was too busy talking to the grandmother or the mother, and they would be so jealous because I would not be made to sit at the children's table. I was often invited to the adult table because small talk has never been my thing, even when I was small. And that hurt somebody's feelings, a lot of people's feelings, especially older people's feelings, that felt as though they had something to teach me, only to realize once they started talking, I felt like I needed to leave. Oh, the offense. Imagine someone thinking that they're coming to teach you everything and they are found void. And they see your young face and they see your eyes dilate and realize that they have nothing to teach you. And it's like a slap in the face because you told yourself by age and default that you were going to grandfather the system in someone's head, when really you're no one's grandpapa. Or at least not the material. You don't have the wisdom of a granny. You have the scorn of a petulant teenager. You've never grown past that place. Can you imagine parenting at the age of 70 with the brain of your highest climax is when you had that first child at 15? And you're still operating from that same brain, but you're working from that 70-year-old body. Isn't it a pity? Some people never grow past their climax. Never past their highest moments. The moments you felt the prettiest was probably the last moment you grew. You never grew past that moment. How traumatizing. You never grew past that graduation. You never grew past that high school catch. You never grew past cheerleading. Yet here you are in this 60, 70, 80-year-old body, still shallow, still thinking carnally, even though you're supposed to be responsible for generations underneath you. That's why I say there are some old people that cannot teach anything. They have not learned or leveled up. They've only gone lateral. They haven't climbed the stairway to heaven because they found childhood in hell. Hope this helps. That was the Aquarius. Page of Cups, deep in feelings and wish fulfillment, and somebody's meeting up with people to try to reinforce their false sense of security because they're slipping in the darkness. Mama, she told me that I was slipping in the darkness. Hey. All right, let's round this thing up with Pisces so I can get on to my baby because he's ready for breakfast. We gonna get to you. We read a little prayer book yesterday, and then we played and walked and stuff. And he loves the rain. My baby is so deep. He loves the rain, and that is wonderful. Very elemental. Loves the nature. So Pisces, last but not least, my dear, here we are, intuitively the moon, the soul, what above, what below. We are deep sometimes in our own water, but sometimes we have to remember that we do need support systems such as algae eaters to clear up some of the murk for us. Because as a Pisces, you need someone to tell you when you're full of shit. And that's where the algae eater comes in. Because the Pisces is a fish. Soul. Eight of Pentacles, mastering coins, Ten of Swords, yeah. Uh, Six of Cups. Nostalgia, familiarity. Somebody is trying to do some things. They're trying to master something. They're pulling on childhood memories. Hopefully, they're good memories, but for some, we have more traumatizing memories than most. Okay, so let's talk about this Ten of Swords. Sun and Gemini, finding, healing, regenerating self. So somebody was trying to master their pentacles or master their skills, and they're trying to heal themselves from childhood wounds. So there's a Pisces that's trying to heal themselves from childhood wounds and traumatizations because they realize that they are a fragmented person and they have allowed life to happen to them, and they haven't attacked life. They've attacked people, they haven't attacked life. And that hasn't necessarily gotten them anywhere at this good age, okay? So now somebody at whatever age they are, it's never too late as long as you realize that there is something that needs to be adjusted, make the adjustment. So hopefully it's not too late, but you have to make the adjustment no matter what. This is the thing. Somebody has mastered money, they've mastered material things, they've mastered a whole bunch of other things that don't mean nothing at the end of themselves because they never mastered what really was broken in them. They never went in and did the shadow work. So no matter what they do, they're never going to be happy unless they deal with the childhood traumas. Some people came out, got traumatized, and they're taking their traumatization to the grave with them. Do you imagine how much life they did not live? How many traumas they put about, how many broken things that they have inspired in life because they were broken themselves, not even realizing how broken they were. Someone is taking their childhood trauma to the grave with them. And some people realize that. Some people realize that they're not going to do the work. They don't want to do the work. To do the work would be to admit that they were wrong in some kind of way. And some people are just like that. They are stubborn to the hilt. Sometimes they end up in hospitals and old people's places shouting things that make no sense. They end up with Alzheimer's or dementia because they refuse to do the work. So the work starts working on them from the inside. And it looks foolish from the outside, but for some of us spiritual people, we do know that those things, entities, attachments, demons, whatever you want to call them, however you want to address them, do start to attack the psyche when things are not addressed in a good time. When people have so many opportunities presented to them to work on themselves, yet they choose to project and work on other people's in a negative way, they do have to take that. That is indeed a backfire. That is somebody speaking over your life, having bad intentions for you, and actually putting their hands to the deeds. Some of the people that you feel sorry for in some of these nursing homes and some of these old convalescent homes and some of these mental facilities are experiencing the very deeds that they put their hands to from within in their own mind. It's an internal thing. They can't really tell you or word what it's like because it wasn't meant for them. That's the way a mental prison works. Everything that affects you is locked within and you are unable to express it. That's what happens when you spend your life trying to lock other people in mental prisons. You end up taking one to the grave yourself. The numbers are 14 and 10, which is 24, which is 6, equal give and take to the universe. Surely what you sow is definitely what you shall reap. And that has been our fix with Mrs. Nix. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Oh, Alex said bye-bye too.